wabadane ikuya donkolo. I'm no yadio. On say okofa number 3.
And on Daniel.
On Daniel no say on him say ana em.
And I better no more chance. Oh, my dear, what Daniel dear no, that's what Daniel. Political parties in go or my sense of dear no more. Tina, Omunina, and Mididi Kosa.
But I listened to Chada when they went for the balloting. And I can say, I say some of you are sublets. If you are here as a sublet and you don't understand the purpose, and you could see the subletted political parties. And so I think that the boy he understands what he wants to do. Because obviously, and he asks legitimate questions. Most say political parties and a balloting, and sana independent candidates a balloting. Mrabeng and a mujina swamo casa. Which CI indicates that presidential candidates must do balloting. And sana
the political parties must do before the independent balloting.
If that were to be the case, then there must be also a further differentiation. Said political parties with representation in parliament should also do the balloting first before the non-represented political parties should do balloting. What you are saying? Because that is if you wanted to do that discrimination. Because you see, I know, say offer one. Of course, I know that the ordering will change when I'm brought back onto the ballot. But say offer one. Your parliamentary candidates will also be one across the country. But say offer 8, as in the case of the National Democratic Congress. And you go to a constituency, and it is only MPP and NDC who are contesting. What campaign, what numbering messages are you going to give? So, you drew on a MPP, PNC, and your friends saying NDC in a contest. You will not get to 8, you get to 3. So, if you are doing segregation, then it must be done in a certain order. And if you are not doing segregation, then why do you take the independent candidates away? And I think that the whole process was flawed. Unfortunately, I was not part of the people to raise the argument that say a Baba yes are discriminational. Then I am willing that the parties in parliament should do the balloting first. Then the parties without parliamentarians can also follow. Then those that are without parties can also come. Then that way we know that we are in order.
Well, once again, welcome and good morning to you.
We know, I offer. I'm not sure that she can think this way.
David. In fact, I'm wondering because he was just highlighting one of the reports about some of the things that have been written about your disqualification. Have you been reading them?
I first and foremost, you were not kind. Just take this and read.
Okay. So this is dated 13 September 2024. On the letterhead of the Electoral Commission. Is addressed to Mr. Bernard, the other name?
Ambatayela
Mornah.
Which means who doesn't have problems.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the meaning of the name?
That's the meaning of the
name. So you've never had problems?
Who doesn't have?
Who doesn't?
How?
It's true. Okay, Mornah, People's National Convention, Accra. And the heading is Presidential Nomination Vetting Committee's report.
Good.
And this is the reads, I bring you greetings from the Presidential Nomination Committee and trust that this letter finds you well. The nomination committee has detected the underlisted anomalies with your nomination forms. 1. Incomplete particulars of supporters on pages 9, 10, 37, 39, 42, 46, 50. Meanwhile, the commission is contacting your supporters to verify the authenticity of their consent to your nomination. You are required to come for your nomination forms today, Friday, 13th September 2024, and effect the needed corrections and resubmit by 2 p.m. on Saturday, 14th September 2024. We wish you well. That is signed Benjamin Banobio, Director, Electoral Services, copied to the Chairperson, Deputy Chairman Operations, Deputy Chairman Corporate Services.
They said the underlisted what? Anomalies.
Yes.
And they said 1. So
Only
you're
one.
expecting that there will be what?
Yeah, there'll be more.
There will be 2.
Or more than 1. Yes.
The underlisted anomalies.
Yes.
1.
1. And
Where is the 2?
Yeah.
Where is the 3?
Yeah, and that's confusing.
Aside that, almost say incomplete particulars of what?
Supporters.
Is this the same thing that Jean Mensah was verbally? Or when they did the press conference? Were they the same accusations you made against me?
No.
They made specific that incomplete particulars. The document is 143 pages. And you made specific detection of anomalies. And those are what? Incomplete particulars of my supporters.
Yes.
I pick up the document on the Saturday morning. We completed the corrections and returned them to you on the same Saturday. What crime again?
So you made the corrections.
We made the corrections, and I give you letters.
Yes,
to prove.
yes. In fact, they wrote.
They wrote
only one.
They wrote this letter, and then I corrected them. And when I corrected them, I sent you a letter indicating that we have finished the correction. Take this one. This one was signed for me by the General Secretary.
This is from the People's National Convention's letterhead, Service with Honesty, 13 September 2024. The address to Mr. Benjamin Banobio, Director, Electoral Services, Electoral Commission, Bridge, Accra. And the heading is Presidential Nomination Vetting Committee Report. It reads, I write to acknowledge receipt of your letter with the above caption. Permit me to state that my team and I have since corrected the errors and will resubmit the nomination forms to the Commission according to schedule. In the meantime, I extend my compliments to the Commission. Thank you. That's signed Bernard Ambatayela Mornah, Presidential Candidate, PNC. Yes.
When this thing was done, I hope I've not taken your question in a way.
No, don't worry. Please.
Yeah. So when this thing was done, this was on the 14th, right? So 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. I never heard from the Electoral Commission.
They never got in touch with you about any new anomalies they detected?
When we submitted the forms, resubmitted the forms, Samuel Kwao called me at 3:29 and told me that they have received my form and that everything was good, so we can go.
That was the assurance that was given to you?
That was the assurance from Samuel Kwao. And I give specific.
Who is Samuel Kwao?
Samuel Kwao is Deputy Director, Electoral Services. Kwa is Kwa, not Kwao.
Okay, Samuel Kwao. Okay.
And so he actually sent me the document via WhatsApp. The first letter. So when I was not hearing anything, and a media house called me to tell me that some presidential candidates have received letters qualifying them and that they should come for ballot on the 20th. I started calling Madam Jane Mensah. Don't forget I've known her since 2003. And so I have, except if she has new numbers, at least the 2 numbers that she used to have, I have both. So I started calling. I've been talking to her when there is need to communicate. And she will not pick. About 3-4 calls. Then I called Samuel Tete. Also, I give time. 10-20 minutes time I'll call. 3 calls. He too did not pick. I called Samuel Kwa. And Kwa told me that, they have finished their job. Everything is okay. They sent it to the commission for their further works. So I called Dr. Bossman. And Bossman then picked the call and said, Mr. Mornah, what is the problem? I said, I'm told that some other candidates have received letters and then there's going to be balloting. We are yet to receive a letter. He said the committee was finishing their work and so over the night Those that came to them, they dispatched the letters. So he's on his way to the office. When he gets to the office, he will return to me. Okay. At 10 o'clock, I started calling him. He too will not respond. Oh. So I caused my lawyers to write to the commission to demand something. And it says, filing of nomination, qualification to contest as a presidential candidate in the 2024 elections. We act as solicited for the People's National Convention and its 2024 presidential candidate, Bernard Mornah. Okay. Here, thereafter referred to as our client. We are informed by our client that on Friday, the 13th of September 2024, Mr. Bernard Mornah successfully filed his nomination and blah, blah, blah. And so they demanded that we wanted to know where we are. Mm-hmm. This letter was delivered at 11 o'clock. And as you can see, the EC received it and signed. Okay. I can forward that one to
That's on 20th September 2024.
20th September. Mm. So when this letter was given, at 11, 3 or so hours later, the Electoral Commission, now through my friend Kisi Asante, okay, sent me a letter. And when they sent a letter, I read the letter. And it is saying that, and I hope you can see, and this is a template. I will show you other presidential candidates, their letters. Just check.
Okay, this is on the letterhead of the Electoral Commission. This is quite faded.
It is faded.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that is the same thing they gave to other people.
Okay.
I will show you.
20th September 2024. Addressed to Mr. Bernard Mornah, People's National Convention, Accra. Filing of nominations, disqualification from the 2024 presidential elections. That's the heading. Anyways, I bring you greetings from the Electoral Commission and trust this letter finds you well. On behalf of the Commission, I regret to inform you that the following review of your nomination forms by the technical and IT teams established for this purpose. You unfortunately failed to qualify to contest as a presidential candidate in the 2024 presidential election. The teams identified several errors and omissions in your forms, even though you were provided with an opportunity to correct same.
You understand? Mm. The opportunity provided me. You read that first letter?
Yes.
It listed the incomplete particulars on 7 pages of my supporters. I corrected and returned them. So where is this one coming from? And when I say that the Electoral Commission is lazy and ineffective, people think that is an attack. No, I'm being real. Because an Electoral Commission must be realistic. I will show you a letter and you read it. By the time you finish reading it, you tell me whether I am making up any story on the Electoral Commission. And this is a letter. Check the address, the addressee, and read it verbatim.
This is to Mr. I hope I can see.
Samuel.
Okay, Samuel Apia Dankwa.
Is it also as faded as mine?
Yes.
Very good.
Independent candidate Accra. Dear sir, is also filing of nominations disqualification from the 2024 presidential elections. Says, I bring you greetings from the Electoral Commission. Trust this finds you well. On behalf of the Commission, I regret to inform you that following the review of your nomination forms by the technical and IT teams established for this purpose, you unfortunately failed to qualify to contest as presidential candidate in the 2024 presidential election. The teams identified several errors and omissions in your forms, even though we were provided with an opportunity to correct them.
So, you see that it's just one letter. All that has changed. So everybody, word, verbatim, word for word.
So there's no clarity as to exactly what you got wrong.
This is the Electoral Commission that is seeking perfectionism from me.
But this letter really says...
No. Do you understand?
Yeah.
This is the same content written to me, a political party candidate, and written to independent candidate. Our errors could not be the same. If you come and listen to the press conference leading to the balloting, Jean Mensah talked about these people not filing tax clearance certificate of their running mate and what have you. Was it ever stated here?
No.
Jean Mensah goes to say that 2 or so of my people were taken from one district to the other place. Has it ever been stated anywhere? No. How am I going to be held liable for the incompetence of the Electoral Commission? I have repeatedly said that because many people don't know my background, I worked as an accountant with the Internal Revenue Service for 4 years. And as an accounts person, well-groomed in accounting, when we talk about errors in anything, the errors must be particularized before you can fix the errors. So it could be an error, data entry error. Okay. It could be error of omission. Okay. It could be error of commission. It could be transpositional error. That is if you want to write 5-7 and you wrote 7-5. It could actually be error of duplication or compensatory errors. There are many types of errors. So if you don't specify the type of error, you cannot even find the remedy to it. We are not all narrow-minded. We are broad. Do you understand? We are very broad. We do consultations. But you know, people just know me as somebody in the political field. So other things they don't know about me. But I am excited about it.
You're excited about
the fact that people don't know so much about me. And so people don't know that I have economics background. You know that?
Yes, I do know.
Well, I will not doubt you because of the proximity and relationship that has transcended over period.
Just the accounting part that I'm hearing for the first time.
Yeah, but I worked at Internal Revenue Service as an accountant, as deputy regional accountant.
Oh, really?
Yes. I worked as deputy regional accountant. So these things, when they come and people with small minds. Now, this is the Electoral Commission's presidential nomination forms. I can come to the parliamentary nomination forms. Where the parliamentary nomination forms will be telling you that I am not qualified to contest. The EC wrote that I am not qualified to contest. So there is a not there. So if you feel it without cancelling the not, it means that you are telling the EC that you are not qualified to contest.
Okay.
I hope you get the point I'm making.
Yes.
That's in the parliamentary nominations form. And those who have filed for parliament can tell you that I'm not lying about it. It is the reality on the EC form. Is that an error? Is that an error? Okay, so part 4 or IV, read it. What does it say? This is the EC presidential nomination form.
So candidate's personal record.
That's part 4.
Okay.
Part 4. Yeah. IV.
Yeah.
Roman numeral IV.
So the name, you have a voter ID number, a polling station number.
That's number them. Number 1 is what?
Okay, number 1 is the name. Number 2 is voter ID number. And beside it is polling station number.
Good.
That is not numbered.
Yeah. Okay.
Then 3, 6, MF.
So what does that mean?
6. Yeah. That is SIX.
Okay.
Then they put 2 boxes, boxes that I usually take. One has M against it, one has F against it.
So you assume that is sex, eh?
But
so it's an error.
yeah, that's an error.
So
Clearly an error.
So sex 6 times a day or 6 times a week.
I see.
These are the Electoral Commission's own document, unadulterated. They can make errors. They have the perfidy and penchant to say that somebody has made error, and not that you have infringed on any of the main issues. What are the main issues? I should be 40 years of age. I should be a citizen of Ghana.
Yeah.
I should be a registered voter. I should be of sound mind. I should designate a person as a vice presidential candidate. I should have paid my taxes by proof of tax clearance certificate.
Okay. You've done all that.
These are, and I did my tax clearance. My running mate was designated, as you know, Jocelyn Akofa Olich. I moved ahead to ensure when the form indicated that whether you have any criminal records, I put that I have no criminal record. But I went beyond and went to the police and told them that this is a question asked by the Electoral Commission. You are the only people to be able to determine whether I have a criminal record or not. So the police CID did their investigations and submitted a report to the Electoral Commission.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to have it, but I have it because it is addressed to the Electoral Commission. I have it.
You went the further step of
I went
the
further
CID.
step to get the CID report for myself and for my running mate. You can read the CID report. Even as it was addressed to the Electoral Commission, I managed to scoop it. Nobody can ask me how I managed to scoop it.
So this is on the letterhead of the Ghana Police Service, Criminal Investigations Department, dated 12 September 2024. It's addressed to the chairperson, Electoral Commission of Ghana, Accra, re-application for police clearance report, Bernard Ambataila Mornah. Your letter dated 11th September 2024 refers, no criminal record was traced against the above named person. I attach here with the fee receipt, please. That's RK Afuakwa, who is Assistant Superintendent of Police for Director General CID. Okay.
I went all this way. When you even ask for proof of citizenship, I attach my birth certificate, my Ghana card, and my passport. When you ask for proof of voter ID card, I didn't just give you the number. I went further. I went further to the Auditor General and picked the asset declaration form, even as you can submit it 3 months after you have come into office. So that I can be in tandem with every question. The only thing I did not do was to go to the mental hospital to do an examination of my mental sanity. That's all. Bro.
So you took all the steps.
I took every step. The EC, as I said. And when we got there, I'm not the one who did. The General Secretary of my party outlined the documents that, look, we brought in the 4 postcard pictures of the presidential candidate and the vice presidential candidate. We have attached copies of their voter ID cards. We have attached copies of their Ghana card, birth certificates, and what have you. We have the tax clearance certificate here. We have the banker's draft of 100,000 for the presidential candidate, and a further 250,000 in 100,000, 150,000 for parliamentary candidates. I paid all that. So the General Secretary itemized the documentations, the things that you asked, and eventually said that the 4 set of copies, quadruplicate copies of the presidential nomination forms are here. And we gave to you, bro. We did this. So for the EC to now come and write a letter to say that there were several errors, I don't know about any error. The errors you identified, we worked on, we brought them to you, you acknowledged by phone call that the errors have been corrected and you have taken note of them.
So at no point did they get back to you again to say we've detected.
So if there is any other error and our attention was not brought to it, I know you consider me a wizard, but my things have not reached that point where I can know that sitting in that your obscure corner, you identified errors. Don't forget that as a member of IPAC for 17 years, I've participated in the processes of submitting forms to the Electoral Commission. Under Afarijan, they will sit down with you and flip through your pages. If there are errors, they'll tell you, these are the errors. This one, you claim you set up a committee. They went and sat at some Zongo corner and chose what they want to do. And came out with 7 pages of my document that they found what they call errors. And they did. These letters that they have given to me are no different from the letters they gave to the PPP.
Same letter.
Same letter. So they are not only incompetent, grossly incompetent, they are lazy. We are just 24 of us that applied. Our specific offenses could have been detailed. You didn't do that.
So, but for the press conference that was held, you wouldn't have known.
Even after my lawyers demanded and wrote to the Electoral Commission, if they are responding to my lawyers, it's now. If they are responding to my lawyers, it's now.
So they haven't responded to that letter.
They have not responded to my lawyers as we speak.
So because we've heard subsequently, you've taken steps and taken the matter to court.
Oh, no, we are in court. I went to court
on
Tuesday because we couldn't go to court on Monday.
Okay.
And among the reliefs, and when I talk to my lawyers, sometimes they don't also get me. But of course, they are lawyers. Mm-hmm. One is that the presidential election should not take place until I am included in the ballot paper.
Okay.
Number two, that all processes, printing of ballot and what have you, should not commence until I am included in the balloting.
Okay.
Now, when I was telling my lawyers that the Electoral Commission doesn't have capacity to go and start printing any material, except they don't understand their remit. There must be a finite voters register before you can know the exactitude of numbers at every polling station, because you are going to print the ballot per polling station. You cannot go and print Tankana Town Hall ballot and take it to, what do we call it, Kita Market Square.
Okay.
So the exactitude, the precise numbers at the various polling stations will be the ones that you'll have to take and go and print plus maybe a 1%. So if we have 2,000 people at Sankana Town Hall, you may decide that you add 1% ballot papers. Mm-hmm. Not so. Mm-hmm. But as we speak, there is no final voters register.
Okay.
So you cannot go ahead to print any material. Anybody that says that the Electoral Commission is going to engage in any printing of material, either the person is ignorant or the Electoral Commission simply doesn't understand the remit. And I'm saying that the Electoral Register is rate with inaccuracies. My son is a police.
Okay.
He is going to be part of the special voters on the 1st of December. Okay. So he went to go and register as a special voter. Okay. When the voters exhibition was taking place, he went to check. His name is not on the place that he has to go and vote. And there are several security officers who did the transfers, and their names are not there. Bear in mind that on 7th December, they would have been on assignment far away from their polling stations.
Yes.
So they cannot vote on that day. Now that their names are not on the special voters list, now that their names are not on the special voters list, where are their votes? Is it a deliberate thing for the Electoral Commission to disenfranchise them? And so until there is an audit of the voters register, so that this my son, who was going to vote in Nadoli, they will cross-check. It's possible that you transferred his vote to Sugakope. So we will get to know whether that mistake took place. If you don't audit the voters register, somebody would have lost his vote. And so, when all these things are there, an error-reading Electoral Commission is telling other people that they are not perfect. And that even when you want to tell me I'm not perfect, you fail to identify in specificity what my errors are. You just identify pages and said they were incomplete particulars of my supporters. And when we took the form, the experts, I have people from KPNG that worked on my form.
On your form? The form
form that I worked on.
Okay.
Just for their work, I cannot mention their names. But those who have come around my office, if you see the quality of people that work on my forms. I have 2 doctors. One works at GIZ. right? I have somebody that is well known in the water and sanitation sector. All these caliber, quality persons worked on my forms. And then, so they are amazed when the Electoral Commission actually identified the 7-page document for errors.
7-page errors, yeah.
One of them told me, Bernard, we went further because we had to do cross-checking. And we identified 2 pages where some other errors were, and we fixed them. So they went beyond what the Electoral Commission asked them to fix and fix other things that they saw. But if the Electoral Commission says that these are your errors, how can you assume that when you finishing what the Electoral Commission identified, they will go and be dreaming that there are further errors for you? If you dream about them, is it not your calabash or pito? Is it my case? Why will I be penalized for the lack of proficiency of the Electoral Commission?
So you take no responsibility at all for
How can I take
errors that were identified?
No. Senna, as I sit here, I finish my work, I give it to you, and you don't tell me that there are inadequacies. I will assume that it is perfect, isn't it? Yeah. When you identify inadequacies and you say that these are the inadequacies, so go and correct them, and I correct them, and you don't get back to me, it assume that
there's no problem.
You are satisfied with the work that has been done. I cannot be held liable. I cannot. Particularly so when I say that the germane issues confounding who should be a presidential candidate, I have met. Senna, by the look, you know that I'm about 40 years. No one will tell you that I'm a Ghanaian. No one will tell you that I'm a registered voter. And I've indicated to you, want me to show you my tax clearance certificate and the banker's draft I sent to the Electoral Commission. I have copies of all this. So therefore, there cannot be justification whatsoever for what the Electoral Commission has done.
You say you are in court. In fact, you said you were in court on Tuesday.
We filed our documentations on Tuesday. There will be the court hearing on the 7th of October.
7th October?
7th of October.
Not too far away.
Yeah, 7th of October.
Please tell us, what are you asking for from the court? What do you want the court to do for you?
Oh, the court first and foremost must halt any further processing of the electoral calendar to compel the EC to put me on the ballot.
Okay.
And 3, for me to contest the presidential elections. There are 7 reliefs, but these are the main important.
Those are the main issues.
Yeah.
As flag bearer of the
People's National Convention. Because I am the people's choice. Senna, I know that I am the people's president and I'll be the next president of Ghana. And it is not for the Electoral Commission to deny the people their choice of a president. I have said, and you see that when I came, because of what I have been saying, I was speaking to you as if you understand Twi like I do. Because I've insisted that we use Twi as our first language in everything we do, in education, in work. Hausa will be our second language because of its African reach. Because when I cross the border to Togo and I cannot speak French, I'm able to speak Hausa. I can go to Benin. And I'm able to speak Hausa. I can go to Nigeria. I can go to Mauritania. I can go to Mali. I can go to Niger. And I can go around. So it's because of that that I have identified Hausa as a second option for the people of Ghana. And Twi as a first option. So now, if you doubt me, just walk to Town Council Line Market and start to speak your big English, verbose, and see whether you can buy anything to this office. Go to Makola, go to Malata, go to Agogoloshi. The language that the people understand broadly is Twi. And they are the owners of our economy. They create the economy for us. Why have you to go to school and then teachers will ask you to hold your ears and be hopping like a frog and shouting, I'm a big fool, I will never speak vernacular again, criminalizing our own languages? I take an exception to that. The people of German Germany, they don't speak English or French, they speak Deutsch. The people of Japan, the people of China, the people of Korea, the people of Saudi Arabia, the people of Italy. And you'll see that there is a nexus between their language and their level of development. Sena, they tell us something when we went to school to study. We did general science. I'm sure you did core science or integrated science. But they said matter is anything that has weight and can occupy space. I hope you were taught that.
Yes.
How do you say that in AV?
That's a tough one. I have to think about it for a moment.
I hope you understand.
Yeah.
So what I have said is that the education that we have had is one that we have to memorize and regurgitate. But we have not internalized it. When the Chinese man is studying, the things he's studying and being taught, he can relate with them. It's not memorization. It's you feel it. As an accounting person, when they say opening stock, add purchases, less return inwards or outwards, what do you think? You don't understand it. We're just, you just memorize opening stock, add purchases, then it will lead to cost of goods available for sale and what have you. You sit down today and you are like, oh, if I were taught that in Chi, in Dagari, or in Navy, I don't need anybody to come and force me to understand the principles. They would have come to me naturally because I'm taught in my own language. And that is what I have been advocating for. The second major policy I've been advocating for is that, look, for donkey years or nth years, we have sold gold, we have sold cocoa, we have sold diamond, we are now selling oil, we are very soon going to deal with lithium. We are proud to say that we are a nation that deals in this. The people of Ghana are unaware that we are a gold wealthy nation. So I have said that we will take control of particularly the extractive sector. Government and the people of Ghana will own 60% of it. When we go, every month what we get, the proceeds. The proceeds that we get, assuming that we get $1 billion from gold, 60% of that $1 billion will go to the government of Ghana. Okay. The 40% will have to trickle into every Ghanaian's account in its minutiae. So if you are born today, the following month, a bank account is created for you as an investment account. Okay. So from that 1 month, every month, something trickles into your account. When you become 18, the account is handed over to you. Those that don't get to 18, the money is reversed to the state. And so Ghanaians will be born into wealth and not into debt. These are the policies that are catching up, and that is why I'm confident that I'll be the next president of Ghana. And then all of a sudden, we have somebody that lacks perfection come to tell me that I am not qualified to contest. And there are no basis for which I am disqualified. The courts should be, and in the past they have done so, that when people's rights are infringed upon electorally, the court has restored their rights to franchise. You remember the assembly elections, I think 2019 or thereabout, where Markins went to court. The Electoral Commission had finished. They were left with about 4 or 5 days to go to the polls. This involved huge numbers of people, printed ballots and what have you. The court asked the Electoral Commission to put that person on the ballot. The Electoral Commission had to discard every material. Recall the case of the GPRTU elections. They even went ahead to do the elections. The courts came and said that, no, you were wrong in conducting the elections without the inclusion of some people. So you have to start. And the processes had to start. And I'm sure you remember the 2016 elections where we were disqualified. And the courts, particularly this time at the Supreme Court, because the various candidates were very bitter that the issues became so topical that the Supreme Court asked all the subordinate courts to halt any processes and to allow them to take a decision. And they took a decision.
You seem to have a lot of confidence that the courts will do that.
I must have confidence because that is the only way to go. Those who don't have confidence, I tell them that whatever rulings that the court make, the court rulings also become law. Those with legal background will tell you that they call them stare decisis. And so those stare decisis can be used, particularly against those who claim that they are in power today. Because once the court verdicts are out, and it says contrary to what popular norm is, we will not grudge, we'll keep them.
You're a politician yourself. You know,
I am a farmer. When I filled my presidential form, I'm sure you saw it.
I know you're a farmer.
No, I'm saying that, but that's my profession.
No, but
that's my occupation. I don't know why.
You see, immediately your name is mentioned.
And people see politics, but I see myself as a farmer.
So you do understand how politics works. Do you think this is down to the electoral commission?
If you take the profile of candidates, I'm sure I'm number 17. Check. That's the profile of candidates as the electoral commission put out. Am I number 17?
Number 17, Bernard Mornah, Sankana.
Hometown. Go further.
MA International Development, University of Farming.
Farming. That is my qualification to the electoral, my occupation to the electoral commission. Just that I notice an exciting one. If you go to number 1, number 1, you can check it. So I am not shy of indicating that my occupation is farming.
His occupation is vice president. That's an interesting one.
This is what the electoral commission captured. I didn't capture this. Oh, read it. Don't think that
Okay, so this is number 1. Mahamadou Bawumia, MPP, male, 61 years of age. Hometown Wale, highest education qualification, PhD in economics. Institute attended Simon Fraser University. Occupation is vice president.
You can read the other candidates.
In fact, if you go through the other candidates and okay, so let me just take one other example. Then I will. Okay, so one other person who has occupied public office is former President John Dramani Mahama. As we speak now, he's a former president. John Dramani Mahama, NDC, male, 65 years, Bole, hometown is Bole. Postgraduate qualification is his highest. University of Ghana, communications. His occupation is communications practitioner. But
me, I'm a farmer.
You are a farmer.
Farming.
Okay. The vice president's own occupation is vice president. Okay. But be that as it may, I've always known that you've been in agriculture for a long time. You are a large-scale farmer. You do a lot of farming.
I am an average farmer.
Maybe now you have been reduced to an average.
These elections is a whole lot. And that is why, you see, I'm not an independent candidate, Senna. Apart from jumbling and raising money, our farm size that was almost 700 acres. We have to reduce it to less than 300 acres so I can liquidate some of the resources to do my campaign.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
And I had to traverse the length and breadth of this country, not alone with a team. And I'm sure that you followed my social media handles. In the middle of the nights, dawns, I was still on the road. And that's why my team called me the road master. Sometimes the driver is tired, but I have to keep going. I have to take the steer. And everybody is sleeping, but I have destinations to reach. Now you go around. Buying fuel alone to go around this country is not an easy one. Engaging with party delegates who have organized furniture and sitting down, it is your duty to refund and supporting their TNT. It's not an easy one. You go through all these processes, your candidature is confirmed by your party. Then somebody go and sit down and say administrative tangentials is the reason for which the people cannot get their choice, simply because I'm a farmer.
Because if you say you've not committed any errors on the face.
I have not said so. Senna, I have shown you proof of documentations that EC identified pages 9, 10, 37, 39, 42, 46, 50.
Okay.
You read them here?
Yes, I read. I went.
And they stated that incomplete particulars of my supporters. And those incomplete particulars, you know, one of them, Patrick, I can mention his face name, got so furious because the forms are filled in quadruplicates. And in the first 1, 2, 3, you see that every information is correct. But probably in the fourth, you were copying and then you mistakenly copied. Maybe you wanted to write 894 and you copied 498. So they simply did the corrections. You did not put a date on one of the forms, so they simply put the date. You did not or omitted the voter ID number, but it's on the other 3 forms. You simply put it there. Those were the incomplete particulars of our supporters as identified by the Electoral Commission.
And you remedied them?
Fully remedied. So how do you then go and concoct that there are still several errors, or there are several errors?
You call it a concoction?
It's concoction because those that you did not concoct, you pointed them out to us. Anything that was not pointed to us is a concocted one.
It's a concocted one?
Yeah.
Why would they say concoct things against
Because they just wanted to find a way to disqualify me. As we speak, I'm supposed to be on the field campaigning. Where am I? Here and in court. So the people that I have reached, or I would have reached with my message of every Ghanaian born into wealth and not debt, of telling the people that I want to nationalize our local language, Twi and Hausa, and it will resonate with them, I have to be in Accra, being in court.
You're saying this is intentional by the Electoral Commission?
It's more than intentional. It's deliberately intentional.
To achieve what aim? The Electoral Commission is the referee in this case. They don't have a party that is...
Sometimes you think that they don't have. If the Electoral Commission votes, and I told Dr. Bosman when I presented my form, and this is what Dr. Bosman said when I presented, Mr. Mornah, when you did your elections on the 7th, I knew that the PNC will not file, because this work is a whole lot. But anyway, why do I doubt you? Because you have been with us for a long time. And I said to Dr. Bosman, you don't do politics. He said, yes. I repeated it to the hearing of the media. I said, I know you don't do politics, but you vote. He said, yes, he's a registered voter. I said, no to that you vote for me. And everybody burst into laughter. He said, Bernard, you are here campaigning. I said, no, I'm only asking the gentleman who has a vote to vote for me. I didn't say he should campaign for me or do any partisan thing. So the EC will vote. And why? They will have people they have to vote for.
But these are also people you've known for so long.
That is the amazing thing. Probably my utterances may not have helped, but I cannot help it. Because if I am attacking an institution or a particular principle, and you take it personal, how am I going to be the person to cure you of that malady? You recall in 2012, the platform of general secretaries at the IEA took a position that will commit our presidential candidates to a presidential debate.
Okay.
General Asedun Ketia, popularly General Mosquito, Ivor Kwabena Green State, Sir John Owusu Afriye.
Yeah, Owusu Afriye.
We were, plus me, we were the general secretaries. We took the decision to commit our presidential candidate to a debate before some ones of us went to Congress. And so our parties were aware that we were going to do a debate under the IEA. When the first debate took place in Tamale, people thought that my presidential candidate did not perform, Hassan Ayarga. We returned to Accra for the second debate at the State Banquet Hall. Hassan Ayarga called the Electoral Commission directly because he thought that he can deal with the IEA directly. So he dealt with them and told them that he was unwell. He was having a terrible cough, and that they should shift the debate a week ahead. The IEA told him no, and said he cannot do it because he's unwell. They said if he's not coming, they will go ahead. without him. And the IEA started preparing the stage for 3 debaters of the MPP, NDC, CPP, to the exclusion of the PNC. When I heard it, I called the other general secretaries to find out whether they have gone to take us out for the debate. They said no. I said, we took a decision as political parties, not as presidential candidate. How come that the IEA will not write to us? And they are writing directly to the presidential candidate. So I took issues and I said, look, our democracy will be a threat if we allow a husband and a wife institution to determine who should debate and who should not debate. Of course, NDC General Seydou Nketia supported me. Ivor Greenstreet supported. Sir John Owusu Afriye supported that no, as for this one, Bernard is right. It was the political parties that took a decision. So if there was any severity, you should get to the political party and not to the candidate. And so we insisted that even in the ill health of our candidate, he will debate. We compelled Hassan Ayerga to the debate, and he showed when he could not control his cough. But I stated a principled position that cannot constitute a basis several years on for somebody to come and take personal issues on me.
You're suggesting that that's the reason?
Well, because I've been trying to find out. See, you know the political space. So now you know when we come here, sometimes we finish and all of us go to eat. My friends in MPP will go to eat together. We go to the club together. We do many things together. So I know what challenges, for instance, the CPP had with their nomination forms. Okay. I know precisely the challenge that LPG. I know what all other candidates, their specific problems, because we were talking across board. And I'm saying that some people filled only 1 copy instead of quadruplicate. Okay. The other 3 copies, they made photocopies of it. EC is aware of this. When they brought it and EC identified, you gave them period to go and ratify the other 3. They applied for extension of time. I did not apply for extension of time. So they got extra 3 days to go and do corrections. Even that, the EC still thought there were problems. People who did not have tax clearance certificates, which is a mandatory requirement to indicate that you do not owe, you are a responsible citizen to the state. The EC waited for them to go and get tax clearance certificates for them to be qualified. And so when you are disqualifying me after I know the lacunas in other people's forms, I'm justified to call for a forensic audit of all the presidential nomination forms. And at the end, you will see that if there are even errors in my forms, they will come less than the errors on other people's forms. And yet they are said to have qualified.
You're suggesting that you're being targeted?
Must I say it? Or by everything that I have indicated, there's reality that this thing could not have just been the way it is.
You seem pained by the decision.
I should be pained. Senna, my farm size have been drastically reduced from almost 700 acres to 300 acres because I needed resources. My farm manager and the people working at the farm are not enthused about it. Probably the money would have also gone wasted because there's heavy drought on the farm. And so sometimes when they want to talk, I said, look at the maize we did. We did about 200 acres of maize. We cannot pick 1 grain. So all that money would have gone wasted. So probably using it to do this helped. I went beyond my limit, begged people to contribute, to support me, to believe in me, to print materials for me. Because of my candidature, some people that were not naturally going to contest for parliamentary candidacy, they were excited and motivated about the things I'm saying. They jumped and they picked up parliamentary nomination forms. Dr. Wombego, for instance, were not interested in contesting it. But once I was coming, he said, wow, we have seen the roadmaster, he will work. Joseph Asyok said that, wow, his little resources, he started using it to even patch roads in Sandema. You have Yusuf Shaibu of the Sisala West constituency, a journalist in Accra. He was not, as soon as I became the presidential, in fact, he used to come to me and say, Bernard, if you become presidential candidate, I will contest. All those people have gone. They have their hopes that when I'm presidential candidate, I'll come to their constituencies and, you know, be able to tell a story that will let the people vote for them. They are not independent candidates. With this coming from the Electoral Commission, they are virtually independent candidates because they have nobody that they can say that this is my presidential candidate. He is a solid brand. So if I am not pained for myself, I should be pained for their predicament.
They had also
and this party is probably among the oldest 3 political parties that were formed in the 4th Republican Constitution. The MPP, NDC, and PNC were formed in 1992. If there is any other political party that comes closer, it's the CPP that came to elections in the year 2000. So it means that every other political party is a JJC, Johnny Just Come. And this party, main elections and minor elections, we have participated. This is the party of President Lehman, Dr. Mahama, Hassan Ayerega, back to Dr. Mahama, and back to David Apasara, and now my turn. We have participated. I should be pained that a consistent record of participation is being curtailed. I cannot be an excited man. And that is why I say with my blood, last drop of blood, I will pursue this to the highest level within Ghana and without Ghana. I will pursue this matter.
Jokingly as it is said, because even my colleague Stephen referred to that, where he said, even if Kwiadonko is now better than you, I'm sure many people have made that comment.
When I was going to Tamale on Saturday for Damba, I met now Professor Edmond Dele, that he came to meet us in the flight. Then he said, my son, what happens? Then I laughed and I said, Prof, they say Kwiadonko is better than your son. Come and see in the flight, everybody. As if, I didn't know that people probably know you that way. And it's like people saw you and then you could see that they felt cold. So when I said that, I said, oh, my mother Kwiadonko is better than me. Everybody just started laughing. I said, Bernard, this is a serious matter. But isn't it serious? Who will doubt my political contribution to this country? Who? Take away from my politics. I am a farmer. I have contributed to feeding the nation. I am a sportsman and a sports administrator. I own Kalibi Sporting Club. We have a football team playing in Division 2. We have an athletics club developing young talents. We have a volleyball club that is exposing many of our talents. I have contributed enormously to our nation. And above all, I'm a politician who has helped to shape the political will of the people of Ghana, demonstrated for causes that does not have direct bearing on me. And recently I was just telling some journalists who said that, in fact, in introducing me, said a serial demonstrator. I said, the civil rights activist Malcolm X, Luther King, demonstrated for just causes. It is only men and women who have no purpose that will not demonstrate against the ills of society. I said, if you go and take Archbishop Desmond Tutu, they are men at the pinnacle. They demonstrated against systems that were horrible, restored dignity to humanity. When law students were unqualified and spaces were restricted and limited, I was not one of them. I went on demonstration. Guns were on me. I was a target, you remember? Guns were on me. I had to shepherd the entire students because of my exposure to these things into the Canadian High Commission. not to allow a murderous leader to unleash brutality on us on top of the Akwaje or Sankara interchange. We had just come from the immigration section onto the Sankara interchange. They blocked us at Afrikiko. So once you were on top there, what were we supposed to do? To jump from that height to find an escape. How many of us could survive? Broken legs and dying. We managed to squeeze ourselves just out into the Canadian High Commission. Even then, some ignorant police officers were trying to spray their hot water and their pepper into that. And then their seniors said, hey, as for this premises, it's no more Ghana. So we could not present a petition to the presidency. We presented it to the Canadian High Commission. Today, the law space has been expanded. Am I a beneficiary? Some of them that have become lawyers will actually be filing or supporting causes against me. But I fought for the liberties of these people to become lawyers so they can make a living and contribute to humanity. And so all these causes that I have participated, I never participated in a cause that will not work. And yesterday I saw an exciting one. PK Mayambe. He sent me a photo that I have never come across in 2006 when I was protesting against the representation of the People's Amendment law. He took a picture and I was there. I look at myself and say, I used to be a fine boy like that. So I have protested for causes that, in my opinion, today, the law that I was protesting, that law was of no merit. How many years today? The law was passed in 2007 by President Kufuor. Has it ever been implemented?
No, not yet.
Did we not waste money? We were telling them that don't do it. They went round Ghana, went round outside. They took the Parliamentary Select Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs. We spent so much money that we could have used to sink boreholes to probably curtail the level of galamsey destruction that we have. When we were protesting and they did not listen, over 17 years after the passage of that law, we did here. The law is not implementable. And so I didn't do these things for just the enjoyment of it. I did them because I felt that our nation's resources needed to be preserved for better uses. Here we are. Tell me that ROPA has been implemented.
Before I take a break, to conclude on this matter, it is not a good story when it is said that Bernard Mornah, who was General Secretary of the People's National Convention, National Chairman of the party, many years in politics, is not able to do what Ikeadonko managed to pull off.
And I was
that
General
sounds
Secretary.
Embarrassing.
When I was General Secretary, I led the filing of the nomination forms of my candidates. I led it. When I was National Chairman, I led them. Today, a team of experts led my process and has enumerated everything that is strategically really required, we did. So how come that EC will go and disqualify us on a flimsy issues? When you just read the EC presidential nomination forms and you go to the candidate's personal record and you started 1, 2, were you not flummoxed? You sat down thinking that, is that the Electoral Commission? If I go further on the form, the Electoral Commission in alphabeting started A, B, C, D. Instead of E, they went to F. It's also an error, right? They are not disqualified from performing their duties. My son, who the Electoral Commission says that for special voting purposes should transfer his vote to a special voters list, did. When the exhibition came, his name cannot be traced anywhere. Is it an error? Has the EC been disqualified from performing his duties? Efo. So,
Well, let's say happy birthday to Commodore Stephen George Obimpe.
eh?
Today is his birthday.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Commodore,
Happy birthday.
I share with you this day, but you know that the party must be big. The man still have swag.
No be easy. No be easy.
With his cowboy,
I tell you.
you know,
I tell you.
he still have swag.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Comrade Bernard Mornah, who is the flag bearer of the People's National Convention.
You'll ever taste, you never spread.
And so,
I know all the problems you have with your allowances and everything. And we're going to come and make things better for you. We're going to come and restore automatic posting so that when you come out of school, you can get a job as quickly as possible. Ezu, and your younger brothers and sisters who are going to come after you, when they come to the first year, they are not going to pay any school fees. We're going to continue all the hospitals that are being built so that we can employ as many of you as possible. And so, I've explained to your patron, I'll create a proper program and come and speak to you. But for now, I said I cannot pass you by. I wish you very well. Make sure that you keep your voting cards well. On 7th December, vote for a change and vote for the 24-hour economy. I know all the problems you have with your allowances and everything. Pre-SHS no. Enko bebia. Obia be catch us say NDC ba ombe yi free SHS free wa. Catch us nipa no say Major Mama mbejina high catcher mo say sa nipa no oyo trofo. Ezu NDC mom na baba be hihye ni yie se na be ya emfaso a e wo se awofo ne enkwada no ne teacher fo nya no na yensaka eduane na e wo school ho enye anopa ye dua nsuohye edugo cup mu ni ama na esi chire baako milk ni ho pan ni ho na bofra enom tea sakora a pan no ka ho milk nka ho okotuna school dan mu a eden no betimi esua eza omutimi di emo saa emo kwa efise emo ene ede abre omo emo no sa ne ede ebru aba no mo ede ebru saa banku TZ tonzafi koko eno anu mbedi sa.
When you are walking, don't you fall down. You don't hit your leg. And so, because you have hit your leg, it means that you are not intelligent or you are not sensible. Sometimes you should give people a break. Mistakes are bound to happen. If I want to write 9-7 and I inadvertently do transpositional figures and I write 7-9, doesn't it occur? But I'm not saying that this even occurred. Every error the Electoral Commission identified, we corrected it. You understand? We corrected every error. So if the Electoral Commission says that there is a problem, they should submit it to forensic audit. And submit the other people that they have qualified to forensic audit the same way they will subject our form to. We will be available for it to be audited, and we want to see whether the same test, when applied to other candidates, they will also qualify. Yesterday, I was calling them. That is why I called Jean Mensah 3 times, and she declined to pick my call. I can assume that she is busy. When you are working, don't you?
Well, before we continue the conversation with Comrade Bernard Mornah, like I said, a happy birthday once again to Commodore Stephen George Obimpe. Happy birthday to you, sir. And it was a happy birthday to one Mr. Chase. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday. And of course, Hisense is best known for electronic appliances such as television, refrigerators, chest freezers, air conditioners. But did you know, Hisense has laser television, gas cookers, washing machines, smartphones, sound system, water dispensers, microwaves, blender, rice cooker, kettle, iron, air fryer, just to name a few. As one of the best electronic companies in Ghana, we stand by our products and offer up to 5 years manufacturer defect warranty with Hisense showrooms across Ghana. Visit any of our showrooms around Accra and also in Tama, Kumasi, Takrady, Takwa, Mankasim, Obuasi, Sunyani, Techiman, Tamale, Hokwe, Kofoidwa to purchase any Hisense products at the best price on the market. Hisense is best for quality, best for durability, best for energy efficiency, best for affordability, best for style, and best for technology. For further inquiries, call Hisense on 0302 550000 or visit our website hisense.com.gh. Also, don't forget to follow Hisense on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Hisense has everyday prices for everyday people. That was the Ghana Garden and Flower Show is on. Started 22nd September, that's last Sunday. Will end on 29 September 2024. Today's Thursday, Sunday, it will end. It is happening at the F1 Sunderland Children's Park, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day. Yes, so we started this morning. Make sure to pass through. The theme is Greenovation, green the nation, feed the nation, grow the nation. Come discover how to turn your garden into a green powerhouse that beautifies, feeds, and grows you and our nation. Come to the daily exhibitions, Green to Riches Youth Conference, master classes, Little Green Fingers, music night, drama night, Kids Playground, and many more exciting activities. Join the movement for a greener, cleaner, healthier, wealthier, and more beautiful Ghana. The Ghana Garden and Flower Show, an initiative of Stratcom Africa. Stratcom Africa celebrating 30 years of pioneering, innovating, and impact. And experience the Stratcom Africa difference. And then finally, if you want to style your kids' hair to give them an awesome and confident look, on that Goldie Kids Hair Salon and Playroom. Goldie Kids Hair Salon and Playroom. It's a specialist unisex salon for kids including teenagers. Goldie Kids is into braiding, styling, hair coloring, haircuts, locks, and more for your children. Goldie Kids Hair Salon and Playroom is located in the Parakou Estate, Main Gate, Christian Village, Domi, in Accra. Contact them on 059 600 8138. They are open every day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Tuesdays, and on Sundays they open from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Goldie Kids Hair Salon and Playroom take care of your kids' hair needs and give them the style and confidence that they deserve. Osman Amin says, and please, the BC results is not out and the government is quiet about it. Please talk about it too. Osman. There's also Kojo Fiagwese said deliberate and wicked agenda against Bernard Mornah. Tankwa Harry says, congrats, Comrade Bernard Mornah. I salute you, sir. Watching you live from Louisville, Kentucky, USA. Good morning to you. This one says, when God, Benadaite says, such display of absolute gross incompetence by our EC is a shame to our democracy. Rocky Filler says, good morning to you. Baba Rufai says, it is a deliberate disqualification. If the Jean Mensah and EC can disqualify people for an error, what are Jean Mensah and her officials doing in that office? Super incompetent. Philams is wondering whether we have an occupation as vice president. He must be disqualified. There's Bakwesi Bedisi. I applaud you, comrade. I've always advocated that government must have 60% in the extractive industry and a minimum of 55% in all state-owned enterprises.
Let it go.
Right, Mary Dutivo says, I disagree with Comrade Mornah on using Twi as our first language. At the accounts, the owners of Ghana. Good morning to you.
And you can continue. Certainly, I'm not an Akan.
Okay.
I'm a Dagao.
Okay.
And a proud one at that. By my culture and my involvement and everything, you know that. But I have done a critical assessment of languages in this country.
Okay.
If you go to remote and forgotten, neglected part of this country called Sankana or called Kukra, go and speak Ewe and see whether there will be anyone around there that will be able to help you out. It doesn't matter what. We are in Greater Accra. Later in the afternoon, there will be a show here. It will not be done in Ghana. Do you understand? If you go to the Volta region, there are shows that are run in Twi. So much so that in Upper West region of all, where Wale, Dagare, and Sisale is predominant, I see pastors preaching Twi. And so it is not a case that, why, is English the only language in our country? Why do we prefer a white man's language to be our number one language, and we cannot take one of our own to be our number one language? In choosing Twi, I knew that I would be confronted with this. Who said that even the Twi, there will not be confrontation? They will be asking whether you are using a Kuyapim Twi or you are using a Ashanti Twi or what Twi. But we must come to the basic conclusion that as a leader, I would prefer that we use any of the Ghanaian languages. In doing so, in the end, every words will be fused into it to make it richer. Dagari words will be fused into it since it becomes the predominant language. Before you realize this is a language owned by all of us. So yes, I agree that they cannot be the owners of Ghana. But certainly, that is the predominant language, and we must agree to work with it.
One other thing two things I'd like to respond to. Elelu Mensah says, hi, Senna, I hope Mr. Bernard is aware that judgment will be delivered in, I'm guessing he's saying June 2025. Thank you. There are many cases where...
Now, how is judgment going to be delivered in June 2025 when the Electoral Commission, by our application, is stopped from proceeding with election 2024 and its preparations, unless and until I'm included?
Unless and until
I'm included. So, who is that person?
Yeah, that's Elulu Mensah.
Elulu Mensah. I think that if you read my application, you will get to know that.
But you do not have an injunction against them.
I know Professor Raymond Atuba know better than you are thinking. He actually teaches judges. And some judges I met said, oh, that is our lecturer. He taught us. So
I like how you have disarmed me. I was going to question after that, but it's nothing, Professor Atuba. Now, this is Albert Witogby says, ask Bernard if you won't turn into another Akufo-Addo when given the opportunity, referencing Kumi Preko, and what's being meted out to innocent demonstrators under
I was part of Kumi Preko. I was a little boy following Kwesi Pratt Kweku Bakwenko. Akufo-Addo and Co were the second stage because President Kufuor, Edward Mahama, Dan Latte and Co were the front. Akufo-Addo, Indeburi and others were the second. Kwesi Pratt and Co were the third. And then we, the lumpen proletariat who were down there. Do you understand? But who were the people running everywhere? When Ahuni Hwanga and Co were shot, it could have been me.
That was
you were. That was where it could have been me. Hajia Fati, that is with Akufo-Addo and MPP, was beaten. If you see her face, you think that they put pepper in her face. We were kids, but we felt that, and Senna, that was the introduction of the value-added tax. It was replacing the sales and service tax that I later worked at Internal Revenue to realize that that was what was in place. It was not a whole new tax that was introduced. It was to replace an existing tax. Sales and service tax was to be replaced by what? Value-added tax.
Yes.
We said, no, don't do it at 17%. The government said they would do. We went on protest. Some ones of us were killed. Today, Akufo-Addo has done something awkward. And probably the man is justified to ask that question. But I am a farmer. And I know what I go through as a farmer. And therefore, coming from that bestial background, I am convinced of what we need to improve the lot of the poor in society. And that is why I say that every Ghanaian will be born into wealth and not debt. And that the natural ownings of this country, everybody must have a share in it. Whilst the state will be given a lion's share for the mega development, we cannot have been called the Gold Coast when we have not experienced anything from gold. We cannot be said to be third largest producer of cocoa when we have not experienced anything from it. We cannot be said to have the finest diamonds when the people of Ghana have not experienced what it is. And all the time, it is government. And when you have your land and there is some natural deposits on it, the government takes over and can sit in Accra and assign people to come and take over. And it exploit what is on the land to your disadvantage. We must all participate in it. That is a given. It's non-negotiable. And the team that I work with, the experts that I'm telling you, anytime I finish talking and they have to now deduct and then go and put it together, when they finish writing and I read, I say, no, this is not what I said. Oh, I am going to be the president. And I say, cancel this. If you not, then they'll say, no, but you have to. For instance, I am totally opposed to privatization. And then if I take the document they wrote, they said that even though I would prefer that there will not be privatization, we'll do responsible privatization. I said, cancel it. I said, there's no privatization. If you want to do private things, I will encourage you to do. But the state cannot take state assets and sell to people and say that you are doing privatization. You cannot sell Ghana Telecom. You cannot sell Ghana Airways. You cannot sell state hotels to friends and come and tell me that that is privatization. Anybody who wants to do your own business, you are encouraged. The state can actually support you to grow. But what the state owns, don't dare touch.
You would not agree to privatize
I
it?
will not agree to privatize anything because it is not the solution to the... Look, most of the things we have privatized, our cliche has always been that they have been mismanaged. When they are mismanaged, it means that we put in what? Poor managerial, what do we call it? Processes.
Yeah.
And you put in round pegs in square holes. It will not fit well. So I have insisted that we should do things very, very well. So if you take this document that I've been working on, you understand, I don't sleep, right? You can read the heading. I've been working on it. You can go. My team will work and you see that I'm doing track changes on it.
Bernard Ambatayela Mornah for President 2024. Leader Bernard Ambatayela Mornah. Bernard Mornah's vision for a new... Okay. I think you've cancelled the Transform and Progressive Ghana. A new era of prosperity and inclusivity. Yeah.
So you see the two things and I'll take them and cancel. And if you go there, you will see privatization. And then they are talking about responsible privatization. I said, no, it will not work here.
For you, the privatization?
No. Once the state acquires land, the state will not sell the land. When the state has an asset, if we cannot use it, we'll let it go. Some other people can come and use it for the benefit of the state. No one should go and do privatization of anything.
I can, speaking to you for many years, know what you do. You are against the privatization. Any attempt to the ECG, the whole whatever they called it, you are against it. You are against Ghana Telecom. anytime you hear privatization of a state asset, you usually speak
No,
against
no.
it.
So
One other thing I want to ask you before we round this up. We've had many conversations, Alaji and Alaji, mostly, about where Ghana is now. Why do you want to be president at this time?
because
This is a very difficult time.
we
So
have to curtail
Mhm.
the continuous decline of our progress as a people. This is a nation that was birthed at the promise of every citizen having a job to do. And I recall when I had finished this form, my mother was so elated that I was going to go to a university and that she would also get the chance to stay in a government bungalow. And when I asked why, she said that when they were growing up, people that went to the university, the day that they are finishing university, the public and civil service already gave them appointment letters
Hmm.
and gave them bungalows to go and stay in.
That was when they were growing up.
Yes, when they were growing up.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
How far we've come.
you were still in the university. And when you are finishing your final paper, you already know where you are going to be posted. And a bungalow was already available for you. This is my mom, right?
Mhm.
They lived it. As we speak, President Akufo-Addo and co went on demonstrations because they were supposed to be fed beef and they were still giving chicken on a day.
Really?
Yes. President Akufo-Addo, Edwin Mahama, Atamils, Afarijan, they were the same year group.
Because they gave them chicken instead of beef.
Instead of beef,
I see.
cow meat. They were expecting to eat cow meat and they gave them a
Very
fowl
interesting.
meat, akokonam. They went on protest. They destroyed things. Edward Mahama will tell you in the New Ghanaian, A Mandate for Change, his book, that when he was coming to school and he had to sit with cattle to come to Accra, Akufo-Addo was already driving car. But when they got to Legon, he, Edward Mahama, had his inner room and his guest room. And when he's going to class, his duty was to go and learn. By the time he came, his bed has been laid. People were employed to do so.
At the University of Ghana.
At the University of
Inner room
Inner room.
and bedroom.
And yes. They had it. I'm not concocting it. I'm saying that if you want, go and check Edward Mahama's book, A New Ghanaian Mandate for Change. So these are things that they lived. Somebody called Kwame Nkrumah provided those opportunities for them. This nation of promise has become a nation of curse. We cannot continue to allow the curse to fester. We need to reverse that decline. It requires courageous, bold leadership. Somebody that will confront and reorder the agreements and mining laws and other laws that we have entered into that are so inimical to the people of Ghana's well-being, and bring about policies and laws that will promote a healthy Ghanaian society, a healthy African society, and a global society. When the British High Commission visited me on the 13th of September in my office, I told them that we will respect you when you respect us. I told them that we will do things when I'm president on the basis of mutuality, respect for each other. We will not allow British people to cheat us, even as we will not also want to cheat them. I was very frontal. And the Ghanaian, who was the political advisor, when they came, I said, Bernard, you are the only person whose office we have come to and you spoke direct like that. Every other person is like, oh, you know, the British people are like this. I said, no, we suffered colonialism under your hands. We cannot take second colonialism from you. I am unafraid to say as it is because the people of Ghana want their fair place on earth. And that is the leadership I want to offer.
We have to bring this to a close, and I will draw attention to one last thing. Despite your convictions, and of course your strong career in politics, nobody will deny you that you are trying to use a mechanism that is at its weakest. You know that the PNC that you even led as chairman and general secretary is not the same PNC now. PNC is weaker. They had a splinter group out of the PNC just not too long ago, led by a general secretary they elected themselves. It is great to be good as an individual, you're strong enough. But when you are riding on the back of the PNC, that's a weaker machinery, would you not admit? And that would significantly affect your chance of winning the presidential elections.
If you have done any political studies, they say the leader is the party, and the party is what? The leader. And so I lead the party. And so what the party is, it is me. And what I am will be the party. And that is why when I'm bringing policies and they tell me that, oh, this is not how our manifesto was, like I said, those manifestos were for some other leaders of the party. As the leader of the party, this is the direction that we have to go. And these people, doctors in financial accounting, people holding chartered in accountancy, people holding PhD in, integrated development studies and what have you. They all come and I tell them that, say, this is what I want to do as a leader, fit my purpose. My professor who taught me agric economics at the University of Applied Sciences, Berlin, is an Indian. And he told me when the Gaddafi assembled them from the world to come and help him to develop food production in his country. Some of them started doing the economics of producing food in Libya and importing from just nearby Europe. And they told him that to produce food in Libya, it will cost him 30 times importing from Europe. Just, Libya, just Spain and Italy. And then Gaddafi sacked about 30 of them and told them that I said, come and do what I want. I didn't tell you to come and tell me the cost of doing it. It's not about the money. Today, Gaddafi's country is a green country. They have the largest dam that has been bobbed recently, right? They have the largest water reservoir in a desert. They have done so many things that the Libyan people produce to feed themselves. So as a leader, you take direction, you take responsibility. And Senna, you don't want your children to be born into wealth. You want them to continue to be born into debt. As we speak today, every Ghanaian owes 29,000. How much will your children owe? Don't forget that as we owe, we are still borrowing. And so their debt level will come and be high. And you have me giving you the assurance that your children would begin to own wealth, because at age 1 month, you start to get money trickling into your account. When you turn 18, the money and the account is given to you. You define independence in what terms? They become independent. They can move at 18 and say, we are now of age. I want to go and stay by myself. I want to do life by myself. Could you have done that when you were a young man at 18? Because you were still dependent on your parents. Even sometimes at 30, you are still under their cage because they still have to provide everything for you. And so it is because of these lucid policies and my willingness to travel the length and breadth of every corner that I have no doubt that Senna Nombo and the family will vote for me. And if you do, I am confident as the next leader of our nation.
Thank you very much for making time to join us in the studio this morning.
It's always a delight
I really
to be
appreciate
squeezed by you.
Comrade Mornah is the flag bearer of the People's National Convention, a very good friend of the station. It's always nice to have you. Anytime we call upon you, if you are able to, you make time and you are here.
These days, somebody does the scheduling, and you should be thanking Petit
yes.
Maugbe
for a big thank you. A big thank you.
I think that once I said Radio Gold, he asked me, will you like to go? I said, it is my home.
He has no idea the history you have with this thing. Well, before we go, just to say a happy birthday to a couple of people. A happy birthday to Winston Afoko.
Oh, I think today is my friend's birthday. Salom Jeramado.
Oh, today is his birthday?
Yes. I just saw that he's wishing himself happy birthday on his Facebook.
Happy birthday to Salom Dramani Jeramado. Salom is from I think North Tong. I am from South Tong.
Okay.
Yes, so we are Tong brothers.
Tong brothers.
Yes, so happy birthday to you, Salom. Happy birthday to one other Tong brother, one Mr. Chase. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday also to Mr. David Agbe. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to Mr. David Agbe. Happy birthday to Mr. George Lawson Atabuachi. Mr. George Lawson Atabuachi in the UK. A happy birthday to you. And of course, a happy birthday once again to Commodore Steve Obimpe. To Oforiwa Mensah. Oforiwa Mensah is the human resource manager with one of our longest lasting partners, Third Eye Care and Vision Center. We love our partnership with them. They are fantastic people, and it's nice to be celebrating your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. A few other things. This one says, kindly wish our beloved daughter Nicole Yehoah Jomo Obede Ashite of PCG, Bethel Congregation Children's Service member, a glorious happy birthday from parents Mr. and Mrs. Ni Ashite. So happy birthday to Nicole Ashite. The other ones you've written in between, Mr. Ashite. A happy birthday to Nicole Ashite. Today's your birthday. From your parents to your happy birthday. This is from Mr. George Dotumo, who says, and I thank you so much for hosting my genius. I'm 1984. Very proud of them. Lower Volta University. 1984. Mr. George Dotumo. Anyway, that's far. 10 years in between them. So, congratulations to the 1994 year group of Sogascos.